we're not even at preseason yet. We're a day away from the game as of this recording and upload, and Tyron Smith already has flared up with injury concerns. According to sources, Tyron Smith limped off the practice field during the joint practice with the Broncos and Cowboys, which we talked about in the previous video, so if you missed that, go check that out before you come here. And we're already hearing the Cowboys contingency plan, and I don't know. I'm very worried going forward, and I'll explain why in a minute. Now, before we get started, if you guys can like the video, doesn't take too long to do whatsoever, and it's greatly appreciated as it helps the video perform better in the algorithm. Next, subscribe if you are new to this channel, and a good chunk of you are not subscribed, so 65% of you guys are not, so make sure to do that and hit that notification bell so you'll get notified when I post new content or go live, which after this video posts, I want to say maybe an hour or two later, we'll go live, so please make sure to tune in. But this is just a lot of bad things happening where we're hearing how the Cowboys didn't do well and they were messy, and now this comes out. Now, I'm not trying to ring the bell for everybody to freak the hell out. That's not what I'm doing here. But this is not the type of news you want to hear going into your first preseason game, because now you have to figure out what your next step is, and we kind of got an instance of what that is going to be. So, from what we're hearing, Tyron Smith's replacement will be Tyler Smith. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys will play their rookie at left tackle, and they will put Connor McGovern at left guard. Now, if things go well, awesome. You know, you got your next left tackle, and you kind of solved the left tackle problem long term. The other problem, though, is your left guard spot now still has a question mark if the Cowboys elect to go down this route. But I think they're kind of forced to when you look at the circumstances, right? Because they're not impressed with Josh Ball, and Josh Ball has not looked good this entire camp. You know, he hasn't looked like ridiculously bad, well, except for the joint practice, but he has not looked good. The problem with that is if he's your backup swing tackle, now that Matt Waletzko is hurt, that's not good. And so I would have really been interested to see what would have been the case if Matt Waletzko was healthy, because then it kind of tells us, all right, if we were in a situation where Matt Waletzko was not starting, still would have had some question marks, but, you know, it's just part of this nature with what the Cowboys are doing. Like, Connor McGovern now getting all the reps at left guard for the most part instead of right guard, which happened last year. That's important, but I'm still worried about this team's offensive line, because let's say Tyron Smith is now gone. Let's just say that he's hurt and he's not going to play. So you got Tyler Smith, Connor McGovern, your center, and Tyler Biadasz, your right guard and Zach Martin, and your right tackle and Terrence Steele. So you have that entire left side of the offensive line with a big question mark on Tyler Smith on how he's going to translate from college to the league, knowing how he was heavily penalized, usually with the techniques when it comes to the tackle position. And then you also have Connor McGovern, who struggled at left guard, but that was more so an issue with him, you know, being forced to go over there, and the Cowboys not really doing their due diligence, as I like to coin it, and as like they like to coin it. They didn't do their part, and so they kind of set him up to fail. Now, that kind of falls on Joe Philbin, to be honest with you, because Joe Philbin's job is to get this offensive line ready, and this is going to be a huge test for him this year. If this offensive line cannot get better than last year's, or is not good, doesn't necessarily have to be better than last year. If it's not good, guys got to go. And he's under a lot of pressure because, you know, we had the news come out and we talked about it that he didn't want Tyler Smith. Supposedly he wanted Tyler Linderbaum. And there's that. But it doesn't matter. You have to get this guy ready. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, this is where you have to make your decision, right? If you're going to put Tyron Smith at tackle, you kind of have to do it early and not later, because again, you don't want to be in a situation to where you're flip-flopping back and forth, because now it's kind of becoming to a point where you're going to end up having Tyron Smith be your backup swing tackle because the guy can't stay healthy. But now there's a caveat to this. If Tyron Smith plays left tackle and he does his thing, that gives the Cowboys that ability to say, Tyron, we wish you the best. You can now retire, or we'll let you go, which is going to be hard with the contract. But there's a good part to this. I'm not trying to sit here and say it's fully negative. The good part that can come out of this is that if left tackle is solved, in my opinion, that's more important than your left guard spot. If you could solve that, and maybe Connor McGovern has a decent year, maybe you can try to bring back Connor McGovern on a cheap deal, or you draft another guy. That's cool. The main thing I'm worried about is the center position and your left tackle. If those aren't good, you're going to struggle. And I get it. People were complaining about Connor Williams last year, but this is kind of one of the reasons why, in hindsight, keeping Connor Williams at left guard would have been nice. Oh, he held the whole time. Nah, it's just more so that he was overpowered because the center couldn't do his job. It's really the center that was your weak link that last year, not your guard. But with that being said, this is where we're at, and I'm just worried about how this team is kind of going into this season, because it's really going to be a hit or miss year. It's really feeling like that. It's either going to be the Cowboys swing and they hit a home run, or they just stink up the joint, to be honest with you, and it's not going to be any middle ground. It's either going to be a good year or a bad year, and if it's a bad year, you kind of have to reassess where this roster is. But then again, as I always say, you're going to have to line the bed you made, and the Dallas Cowboys elected to make this bed. They decided to move on from two of their offensive line starters from last year. Whether you believe that was the right choice or not, which I think, okay, that's fine. That's the part where they're going to have to live with that decision. And it's going to be a big decision, and that's where you're kind of hoping that Terrence Steele comes out and he does his thing. You're hoping that the young guys can step up, but if not, it's going to be a rough ride. That's for sure. So, with all that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please tell me down below how you feel this situation, like how would you handle it down below. By reaching the end of this video, you were a real MVP. Before you go, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and hit that notification bell on the way out. And if you missed the last video, you can either go back to the main channel and click on it, or you can just click on the link in the next couple seconds. So, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Goodbye.